Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Amanda from A Joyful Scrapper. Again, back with a sketch from Christy's Beautiful Life, the best of 30 days of sketches. Today we have a sketch. I missed her name there. I'm going to add it down below. Sorry about that. I'm going to be using the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Lemon Twist, which I have been dying to use. And kind of funny enough, I've been seeing quite a few videos today of people using this. I heard through the grapevine that this has come back, that it was gone for a while, and now it has been re-released, which is awesome because this kit is just simply adorable and beautiful, and you can really use it for anything. As I just showed you, I'm going to be scrapping pictures of me and my cat Jace is black and white, so I thought this black and white gingham would be would work really well with him. So I decided to use that as my background. I used that yellow paper just as a mat behind it. Of course, I gutted it first before I tacked it on to the gingham piece, and I cut that gingham to 11.5 by 11.5 so that I could have that nice yellow border. I roughed up the edges kind of pretty rough with this because since this is supposed to be vintagey looking paper, I like it to look really scuffed up when I'm using something like that versus just a little scuffed up with some of the other things. I'm also tearing my edges a little bit and curling them under in a couple of spots so that we can see that pretty yellow paper on the back. It had like lemons on the back of it, so I wanted to see just some little peaks of that coming through. There's the sketch right there, and I can see her name, Ashley Horton, is who this sketch is by. So I'm glad I could catch that and let you guys know. I'm going to follow the sketch pretty closely for just shape and design. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to map my photos just side by side, just like they are in the sketch. I had kind of played around in my mind with kind of putting them a little off kilter so that it wasn't exactly, but I really kind of liked the smooth lines just that the sketch afforded. So I decided to just keep them the same way and have them going across the center of the page like that, and then having my embellishments come down kind of like in that cascade, like they have the hearts in the picture. So I'm going to start just with this black polka dotted paper. It's kind of got like this weathered look to it, almost like maybe somebody swiped some gesso on it across there just to kind of fade some things out. So I really love the look of that black and white polka dotted paper. I'm glad I have quite a bit left so I can still use it on another project. But again, with this one, as I'm scuffing up the edges, you can see me like going pretty hard at it because I really want those edges to be really, really scuffed up. I don't want it to be subtle. I really want it to look old and like kind of beaten down a bit. So, and then I'm going to take the inside that I cut out of that yellow paper that's bordering my gingham, and I'm going to put that as the bottom layer to my photos here. And the same as I did with the black and white polka dots, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scuff that up pretty roughly again too, just to continue to give it that really, really weathered look. Just a little backstory about my cat. He is pretty cranky to literally everyone but me. I mean, he's been cranky with me before, obviously, as cats are, but he's really a funny kind of guy. Every day he demands that you give him some love. So in that picture where I'm giving him a little kiss on the side of his face, he will actually come and stick his face on your lips until you kiss him. And until you kiss him as many times as he wants you to kiss him. So that was one of those moments where he was up there demanding his affection for the day. And I just thought it would be fun to scrap those photos. So here what I'm doing is I'm just tacking this down really lightly so that I can draw in the circle that was on the background. I cut out some of the video ahead of this with me trying to use this compass. I don't know what they have done to these things, but this particular compass did not work well. So in order to draw the circles, which I'm showing you there, I actually went downstairs and got a bowl and just traced it because I didn't have anything better and that compass would not work. So note to self, I need to buy some stencils with different size circles on them in order to kind of trace these out on my pages like this, so I don't have to resort to using bowls as I did today. The sketch also showed a couple areas of mixed media behind, like kind of above and below the picture. So what I decided to do, instead of using my shimmers, which is what I would normally go to, but since this is like such a dark page, I really didn't want something that would just kind of blend in and you wouldn't be able to see it at all. And I also didn't want something really stark that stood out a ton. So I decided to just take my white gesso, which when it dries, you'll see it becomes like partially transparent. So you still have kind of just a little subtle bit of seeing where it's not even like colored really. It just kind of looks worn in those areas to me. And so I decided to use the gesso because I really didn't want it to detract from all of the pretty embellishments, but I still wanted that kind of worn look there, or that kind of highlight in that area. So at this point, all I'm doing is just adding a bit more just to kind of give it a little more messy look, because you know I like things messy. And then just to add just a bit more for interest and dimension here on the paper and texture. If you've never used gesso before, it has kind of a chalky feel to it. So when you run your finger over it on the paper, you can feel the definite difference between the smooth cardstock and then where you have this kind of chalky feeling gesso put on the page. So that's really all I'm planning to do with the gesso, and all I'm planning to do in those areas where they had a bit of mixed media. For me, this is pretty light on the mixed media, which is fine. You know, so some of my layouts have a ton of it and some have none. That's very rare for it to have none, but some have less than other times. So on the sketch, there were a bunch of hearts. Obviously, I'm not using hearts. I wanted to use this lemon twist kit, and I have all the ephemera packs and all the different things that come with this lemon twist, because when I found it, I bought every single thing they had for the lemon twist collection because I wanted all of it. I don't have every single piece because they didn't have every single piece when I bought it, but I had as much as they had. So instead of using hearts, I'm just going to use the ephemera that comes with this kit, and I'm going to still create that cascading effect with all of that ephemera. So in order to keep in with the vintage vibe I have going on with the page, I scuffed up all of the little pieces of ephemera that I wanted to use. I just did that off camera. That's why it kind of skipped out. I didn't figure you needed to see me scuff up everything. So I pre-scuffed, and now I'm going to start assembling a few clusters of bits and pieces from that kit. So some of the pieces I'm going to pop up on foam, like that little flower right there. I wanted that to stick up above the lemons just a little bit to give a bit of dimension. And then this little circle guy, I am going to put him flat on the page. And then in a moment, you will see once I get my tickets that you saw me kind of fit in there and play around with, those 2 tickets. I'm going to stick those down first, and then I'm going to pop up those lemons just a little bit in the background so that they are not completely flat with that circle piece and the tickets. So the tickets are flat against the page, except I'm going to, like, you'll see me in a while, I'll start playing with the ends and just kind of curl them up a bit so that they, you know, look like they are sticking up off the page as well. And then this little squeeze the day little piece wording, I'm going to pop up too so that it's not flat against the lemons. So this is something that you can do when you have a lot of just flat pieces. Okay, so there's no dimension to these pieces when they come. They're just like on little pieces of cardstock. They're cut out, they're flat. So some of the things I like to do with these flat pieces is, first of all, you can layer them and you can put foam underneath some of them to kind of pop them up off the page a bit. You can scuff up the edges so that they don't sit flat against the page as well. And you can also curl up the edges, okay? I'm going to do that with the tickets in just a minute. Just kind of puff them up. I like to do that also with the petals of flowers when I have petals that are separate from the whole piece. So those are some of the ways that I like to just kind of add some dimension and make things feel not so perfect. That little flare right there I got from Scrap and Happy Studios. I had 3 of them set aside for this one that all matched the yellow color. Not that one I got as a free gift for when I ordered from Scrap and Happy Studio. So just so you know, whenever you order, you get a little card with one little extra one on there. And that lemon slice happened to be one of the freebies I got. The other 2 came from a set that had a bunch of lemony things on it. But I had to be careful what I chose because that set includes a lot of pink. So I had to pick the ones that didn't have any pink since I don't have any pink featured in my layout today. So I could only use the ones that were just yellow and white. And that's all right. Those are still cute too. And I loved them. I love the little bit of shine and the little pop that they give to the page. Down here, I'm making my second cluster. I think I make 4 clusters in total that kind of cascade down the paper. One includes the title of the page. This one, I just loved those lemons. I felt like kind of like, ooh, maybe I can kind of make the little blue flowery bit almost look like the branch of a tree. It doesn't really, but I just pretend in my mind that it does look like the branch of a tree. And then I've got those lemons just kind of hanging from the branch. And I just thought that would be really cute to kind of try to give it that vibe, I guess, since it's not truly a branch of a tree. And of course, I've got my little tag. I couldn't read it to say a happy day, I think. And then, of course, the butterflies. I love my butterflies. So whenever they come on a page or whenever they come in a kit, I tend to use them up pretty quickly. So, yeah, so that cluster is almost done. I will add one of my flair to that cluster at some point here before the end. With this kit comes that set of puffy stickers. Well, you can get that. There's a matching set of puffy stickers, and it has a bunch of clusters of lemons and flowers, and also some little tiny bees and butterflies and all kinds of little cute things you can use on your page. It also has several titles that you could use. So for this one, I decided I wanted to use Sweetest because I thought our interaction, mine and Jace's interaction, was very sweet. And so my title, I'm going to use Sweetest, and then from an alphabet from Felicity Jane that I've had for a while, I'm going to spell out the word boy. And so my title will effectively be Sweetest Boy. I play around for a second with how I want to place boy. At first I had thought I kind of wanted to put it onto the Sweetest title, but then as I start playing around with it, I realized that's not going to work because I don't want it straight on top of it, but the letters are too thin for me to really hang them off. So I end up sticking them just underneath it, and that's fine. I kind of wish they were on a more solid surface, but I really didn't want to add any solid because I really like the look of that hanging foliage there. So I didn't want to add any more solid pieces, so I didn't. And so the boy is just sitting on the branch there. I also think that is fine. Here goes another butterfly that I'm going to add on there. Like I said, I tried to stay pretty consistent. Most of my clusters have lemons and butterflies, except that one coming off from the title does not have a lemon. It has a butterfly, but no lemons. Everything else is going to end up having both the butterfly and the lemons. This is the last little cluster down here, and it's just one little sprig of the foliage, a butterfly, and a banner going across here. And I just thought that it finished out that little cascade that was prevalent in the sketch. I thought it worked out pretty nicely just to put these few things here. I know it's not hearts, and honestly, I don't think I put a single heart on this page, which is also odd because I had a bunch. I just didn't end up using any of them. But that's all right. I just had my own vision for this, and I knew I wanted to use this kit, and I knew I wanted lemons instead of hearts, so that is what I went with for this design today. At this point, I'm just adding a little bit of dimension by putting some foam tape under there. I'm just about done with all of the main aspects of this layout. As you can see, I'm going ahead and I'm putting in those last couple of flair. That one, I think I decided to put the lemon one there. Yes, I put it down with the title because I lied. I did include a lemon on the title one. That was intentional. I remember looking at that as I was putting the flair in, and I thought, well, I don't have a lemon under here, so why don't I use the lemon flair under the titles, and then I will put the stripy one over here with the lemon, and there we go. Now I have lemons and butterflies. Okay, so Spiegel Mom Scraps. I love, love, love their sequin mixes, and I knew I had the perfect sequin mix to use on this layout from them. It has such pretty, like, I don't know if she made it specifically to match this set, because it honestly seems like it. The green in with it is the same kind of turquoisey light green that comes in this kit. It also has kind of some clear, like, clear yellow sequins. There are some gold sequins, and then there are some that are shaped like flowers, and they're super adorable. So on the sketch, there was a lot of like really big splatters up to that top left part of the photos and to the bottom right underneath the title. So instead of doing those giant splatters or a bunch of mixed media, I decided to place these sequins instead of the great big splatters at the end. And I really like how it turned out. They're not as big or as bold as what giant splatters would have been, but I really like the shine and the sparkle that they give to the layout in the end. And I like that the colors are such a perfect match to all of the ephemera and the papers and everything. So I'm really, really pleased with how they turned out. The kind of hard part about placing sequins like this is you want to make it look like you just tossed them on the page and you're going to glue them wherever they fall, and you kind of do that, but you also know that I can only glue down a single sequin at a time. It's really hard to glue them down and keep them in place if they're layered on top of one another. So you do kind of have to play around with it, and you do have to place them individually, and then you have to glue them individually. So it's a little bit painstaking to go through this process, but it's honestly so worth it because look at how cute it turns out. It's so sparkly, and it just adds so much interest and texture to your page once you get done that it's worth the time it takes to put all of these little sequins down. And so that's what it looks like once I get the sequins done, and I leave all of them just like that. None of them fell off. Later, when I did a little test, I waited a bit to make sure it dried, and then you kind of shake it a bit to see if any fall off, and none of them fell off at that point. In this little pack, they have the layered stickers, which are awesome because they come already dimensional, so you don't have to add anything to it. And I just took one little butterfly. That's the only thing I used from that pack, and I just wanted it right there on the Sweetest, and so that was simple and easy, and one little thing. Okay, so y'all know I'm into my mixed media. So this is some Nouveau. It's kind of got like a glittery, sparkly look to it when it dries. Well, kind of like a pearly look, but it also is kind of sparkly too. I love to use these in little dots around my paper. I've done this a few times where I create circles with just dots of Nouveau. This is their turquoise color, And remember at the beginning, I had drawn out those circles on the back of my page. Well, now I am going around those circles with the Nouveau drops, and I'm just doing drop after drop after drop to create those background circles. You got to be careful when you use Nouveau because it stays wet for a while. So you want to be careful that you're not smudging it as you go around. If you look closely here, and you'll be able to see when I do my close-ups, I do have a couple of areas where I got a little too close with my dots and they kind of merged together and made like a little line. I don't know if I'll try and fix that later or not. Maybe once it dries, I'll see if I can pop one up that's close to some embellishments so that I could easily cover it if it doesn't work and fix it, or I might just leave it and just have those imperfections in my page. When I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of Bob Ross, and Bob Ross would say, you know, there are no mistakes, there are just happy little accidents. So all of those happy little accidents are what make our pages unique and what make them feel homemade. So I really don't mind if there's a little mistake here and there, a little happy accident here and there. All right, so now I'm going to come in with my finishing touch, which is a little bit of shimmers. I'm only using my shimmers this time to create some splatters in black. They blend in pretty well with the background, but when I get them on any of the embellishments, they really do stand out, and they give just this another layer of interest to the page and just another layer of that homemade look. Everything that you add to this that makes it messier or whatever just makes it feel so much more homemade. So here are the close-ups. There are the sequins and the pretty embellishments, all of the Nouveau drops. I just love, 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 love this collection. And I'm really looking forward to making some more pages with it. And that is that. Here's the sketch one more time to see how close I got, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all.